This is the Original Sin, the Collective Intelligence Network.
Hello sinners, my Collective Intelligence Network agents. Today what I thought I'd do is lean into the whole AI experience, or our saints, which is a suggested artificial intelligence network thought. And I provided a prompt, which I've classified as a prayer, which is a prompted research answer yielding excellent results. So in effect, what I did was I asked a question and put it into ChatGPT, and this is what it came back with. So without further ado, let us proceed. This was my question. What is a universal local problem for people? And please provide actionable strategies to solve them with a realistic time frame. So the answer that came back was, a universal local problem that many people face is traffic congestion. This issue affects daily life by wasting time, increasing stress, and contributing to environmental pollution. Below are actionable strategies to address this problem with a realistic time frame. So it's come up with 9 actionable strategies. And what I've also done after that is I've actually asked another prompt, which was... please provide a list of specific activities for each of the listed action plans so that it is broken down into easy to apply steps that will result in the projected outcomes. So what I will do in this reading, it is very much a gospel, a great oration as spoken publicly, expressing learning. So let's go to the first action point, and then I'll go through the specific steps on it. The idea being that you at home in your local community can potentially employ these strategies in your own local area, and collectively we can actually achieve this big goal, which I will get through eventually. Okay, so below are actionable strategies to address this problem with a realistic time frame. So number 1, promote carpooling and ride-sharing services. Action. Encourage local businesses, schools and communities to implement carpool programs. Partner with ride-sharing apps to offer discounts or incentives for frequent carpoolers. Time frame, 3 to 6 months. Outcome, reduced number of vehicles on the road, leading to less congestion and lower emissions. So now going to my action steps, which was provide a list of specific activities. Here is a detailed breakdown of specific activities for each of the action plans mentioned. These steps are designed to be easy to apply, leading to the desired outcomes. So with the promote carpooling and ride-sharing services, which we just went through, activities. Survey employees and residents. Conduct surveys to identify potential carpool groups based on location and work/school hours. Create carpool groups. Use the survey results to form carpool groups and set up communication channels, example, WhatsApp groups. Partner with ride-sharing apps. Contact local ride-sharing companies to negotiate discounts for carpool users. Launch a carpool campaign. Design flyers, social media posts, and emails to promote the benefits of carpooling to the community. Incentivize participation. Offer rewards such as gift cards or extra leave days to frequent carpoolers. Really quite well put together, I think, and very actionable. And yeah, let's go through to what the next suggestion is. So, number 2, enhance public transportation. Action. Advocate for increased investment in public transportation infrastructure, such as more bus routes, better schedules, and improved facilities. Time frame, 1 to 2 years for implementation and improvement. Outcome, increased use of public transport, reducing the number of private vehicles on the road. So let's go to the activities specifically that you can actually do for this. So first one, community feedback. Gather input from residents about current public transport issues and suggestions for improvement. Advocate for improvements. Meet with local government and transportation authorities to present the feedback and advocate for better services. Promote public transport use. Run awareness campaigns about the benefits of public transport, including cost savings and environmental impact. Implement a monitoring system. Work with authorities to establish a system for real-time tracking of buses/trains to improve reliability. Offer subsidised passes. Partner with local businesses to provide discounted or free public transport passes to employees. These are some stellar ideas, really. And let's go to number 3, the 9-er. Implement flexible work hours and remote work policies. Action. Work with local businesses to adopt flexible working hours or remote work options to reduce rush hour traffic. Time frame, 3 to 6 months. Outcome. Decreased peak hour traffic congestion, resulting in smoother traffic flow. Hallelujah. So here are the activities that can be done specifically for this. Implement flexible work hours and remote work policies. Survey employees. Identify job roles that can be done remotely or with flexible hours. Propose a flexibility plan. Develop a proposal outlining how flexible hours or remote work can be implemented without affecting productivity. Present to management. Meet with company leaders to discuss the benefits and address potential concerns. Pilot program. Launch a trial period where employees can work flexible hours or remotely with a system for tracking productivity. Collect feedback. Gather feedback from employees and management and make adjustments before full implementation. Number 4. Develop bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure. Action. Advocate for the construction of bike lanes, pedestrian paths and safe crosswalks to encourage non-motorised transportation. Now, I know in Sydney, they've been going crazy with this whole thing, and I've got to tell you, it's really causing a lot more congestion and there's not as many bike riders. So let's go into potentially how we can expand that. Time frame, 1 to 2 years. Outcome, increased use of bikes and walking, reducing the number of cars on the road and promoting a healthier lifestyle. So let's go and have a look at what the actual action plan is for that. Identify key routes. Work with urban planners to map out high traffic areas that would benefit from bike lanes and pedestrian paths. Secure funding. Apply for government grants or partner with local businesses to fund the construction of the infrastructure. Engage the community. Hold public forums to discuss the benefits of biking and walking, addressing any concerns residents might have. Launch construction. Begin the development of bike lanes, pedestrian paths and safe crosswalks. Promote active transportation. Run a campaign encouraging residents to bike or walk, highlighting new infrastructure improvements. 5. Introduce traffic management technologies. I think this is really good what comes up in here. So action, implement smart traffic lights and real-time traffic monitoring systems to optimize traffic flow and reduce bottlenecks. Time frame, 6 to 12 months. Outcome, more efficient traffic movement with reduced wait times and congestion. How does this actually work in practice? Very interesting to see what they have come up with here. Introduce traffic management technologies, activities, conduct a traffic study, collaborate with traffic engineers to identify bottlenecks and high traffic areas in need of improvement. Secure funding. Apply for local, state or federal infrastructure grants to fund road improvement projects. Engage the public. Hold public meetings to gather input on road infrastructure needs and priorities. Design improvement plans. Work with urban planners and engineers to design road upgrades such as adding lanes, improving intersections, or constructing bypasses. Begin construction. Start with high priority areas and gradually expand to other parts of the community. Monitor traffic flow. After improvements are made, continuously monitor traffic patterns to assess the impact and identify further needs. So many pages. Which one am I up to now? 6. Raise awareness through community campaigns. Action. Organise educational campaigns to inform the public about the benefits of reducing car use, using public transport, and adopting alternative modes of transportation. Time frame, 3 to 6 months. Outcome. Behavioural change among citizens leading to less congestion and pollution. So the activities for these are: develop campaign materials, create posters, flyers, social media content and newsletters highlighting the impact of traffic congestion and ways to mitigate it. Host workshops and events. Organise workshops on sustainable transportation options and the benefits of reducing car use. Partner with local media. Work with newspapers, radio stations and local TV to spread the campaign message. Engage influencers. Collaborate with local influencers or community leaders to promote the campaign on social media and in public forums. Monitor impact. Track participation and engagement rates to measure the campaign's success and make necessary adjustments. Okay, number 7, encourage telecommuting and online services. Action. Promote the use of telecommuting for jobs that allow it and encourage local businesses to offer services online, reducing the need for physical travel. Timeframe 6 to 12 months. Outcome. Reduce daily commuting, easing traffic congestion. So with this activity, there's quite a few. Identify suitable roles. Determine which jobs within local businesses can be done remotely. Develop telecommuting policies. Create guidelines for telecommuting covering expectations, communication and performance tracking. Train employees. Provide training on the tools and best practices for working from home. Implement a pilot program. Launch a trial period for telecommuting with regular check-ins to assess productivity and employee satisfaction. Expand to other businesses. Share success stories and best practices with other local businesses to encourage wider adoption. And promote online services. Encourage local businesses to offer more services online, such as delivery, virtual consultations, and e-commerce platforms. Now, I think a lot of this has actually already been done with the advent of the COVID-19 situation and the number of people who subsequently then had to work from home because we didn't have many other alternatives available to us then. Interestingly, I believe the New South Wales Public Service has just mandated for all their employees to come back and work in the office, which sort of goes against what we're trying to sort of do here, which is reduce traffic congestion on our roads. Okay, number 8, improve road infrastructure. Action. Work with local governments to identify and upgrade key roadways, add more lanes, or construct bypasses where necessary. Timeframe 2 to 5 years, depending on the scale of projects. Outcome, smoother traffic flow, fewer bottlenecks, and reduced congestion. So our activities for this are: conduct a traffic study. Collaborate with traffic engineers to identify bottlenecks and high traffic areas in need of improvement. Secure funding. Apply for local, state, or federal infrastructure grants to fund road improvement projects. Engage the public. Hold public meetings to gather input on road infrastructure needs and priorities. Design improvement plans. Work with urban planners and engineers to design road upgrades such as adding lanes, improving intersections, or constructing bypasses. Begin construction. Start with high priority areas and gradually expand to other parts of the community. Monitor traffic flow. After improvements are made, continuously monitor traffic patterns to assess the impact and identify further needs. And then on to number 9, which is promote urban planning for walkability. Action. Encourage city planners to design urban spaces that are more walkable and less reliant on cars, with mixed-use developments that bring amenities closer to where people live. Timeframe 3 to 5 years. Outcome. Long-term reduction in traffic congestion and improved quality of life. So the activities for this: conduct a walkability audit. Assess current urban areas for walkability. Identify barriers such as poor sidewalk conditions or lack of crosswalks. Engage with urban planners. Collaborate with city planners to incorporate walkability into new developments and renovations. Community engagement. Involve residents in planning by holding forums and surveys to gather input on their walkability needs. Implement quick wins. Start with simple improvements such as adding benches, improving lighting, or creating pedestrian zones in key areas. Long-term planning. Work with city officials to incorporate walkability into long-term urban development plans, ensuring that new areas are designed with pedestrians in mind. Promote walking. Launch initiatives such as walking groups or community challenges to encourage residents to walk more in their daily lives. And then its closing is, by following these specific activities within the proposed timeframes, communities can make significant progress in solving the universal problem of traffic congestion. And going back to the close of what the first iteration was, it's exactly the same. By combining these strategies, communities can effectively tackle traffic congestion, creating a more livable environment for everyone. Pretty much the same. So then I followed on with those inquiries with another prompt, And I asked, please provide projected global emission reductions if all of the above is achieved and use scientific evidence to support your claims. And this is what our saint came back with, suggested artificial intelligence network thought. Estimating global emission reductions from implementing the above strategies requires an understanding of the relative impact of transportation on greenhouse gas emissions and how effective these measures can be. Below is a projection based on scientific evidence. 1. Background on global emissions from transportation. Global GHG emissions, greenhouse gas emissions, in 2021, transportation accounted for about 15% of global greenhouse gas emissions, with road transport, cars, trucks, buses, contributing the majority of this share. Urban traffic. In urban areas, road transport can account for 25 to 30% of total emissions due to the high density of vehicles and frequent congestion. 2. Emission reduction potential of the strategies. Carpooling and ride sharing. Studies show that carpooling can reduce the number of vehicles on the road by 10 to 30%, which could lead to a 10 to 15% reduction in emissions from passenger vehicles in urban areas. Public transportation improvements. Enhanced public transportation can lead to a shift from private car use, potentially reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 20 to 30% in well-served areas. Flexible work hours and remote work. Telecommuting has been shown to reduce commuting-related emissions by 15 to 20% when implemented widely. Bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure. Shifting 5 to 10% of short trips to biking or walking could reduce urban transport emissions by around 5 to 7%. Traffic management technologies. Implementing smart traffic systems can reduce idling and stop-start driving, cutting emissions by 5 to 10% in congested areas. Urban planning for walkability. Improved walkability in cities can reduce vehicle miles travelled by 10 to 15%, leading to a similar percentage reduction in emissions. 3. Projected global emission reductions. If all these strategies are implemented globally, the cumulative effect could result in a significant reduction in emissions from urban transportation. Global urban emissions reduction. Implementing these measures in urban areas worldwide could reduce emissions by 20 to 40% from urban road transport, based on the cumulative effect of fewer vehicles on the road, improved traffic flow, and increased use of alternative modes of transportation. Overall global impact. Given that road transport contributes to 15% of global greenhouse gas emissions, a 20-40% reduction in urban transport emissions would translate to approximately a 3 to 6% reduction in total global greenhouse gas emissions. Scientific evidence supporting these estimates. Carpooling and ride sharing. A study in California found that ride sharing reduced VMT, which they did an abbreviation of up here, vehicle miles travelled, reduced vehicle miles travelled by 6.8% and could achieve up to a 15% reduction with wider adoption. Public transport. Research in European cities have shown that doubling the use of public transport can reduce CO2 emissions from urban transport by up to 50%. Wow. Telecommuting. The Global Workplace Analytics estimates that if employees with remote compatible jobs work from home just half the time, it would reduce greenhouse gas emissions by over 54 million metric tons annually in the US alone. It's a big number. Biking and walking. A study in Portland, Oregon showed that increasing bike trips from 3% to 6% of all trips could reduce CO2 emissions by 5%. Smart traffic systems. Implementing adaptive traffic signals and smart traffic management systems has been shown to reduce fuel consumption and emissions by up to 10% in studies from Europe and the US. Walkability. A study from the University of California, Berkeley estimated that improved urban planning for walkability could reduce per capita greenhouse gas emissions by 15%. Conclusion. If widely adopted, the strategies above could contribute to a global reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by around 3 to 6%, depending on the scale and effectiveness of the implementations. This would be a significant contribution to global efforts to combat climate change. Well, that is phenomenal. I know there's a lot of figures, there's a lot of statistics, there's a lot to get a head around. However, that seems to be a total package plan on how potentially collectively we can reduce global greenhouse gas emissions by 3 to 6%. And this video, courtesy of our saint, suggested artificial intelligence network thought, and the prayer that I used, which was a prompted research answer, yielding excellent results. And I think we've come up with a bit of a miracle, which is machine insights: read, analyzed, critiqued, learned, expanded, which is exactly what I'm trying to do here. This is a different way of iterating and using the collective intelligence network. And by that I mean leaning into the insights and the knowledge that can be gleaned from asking the right questions to an algorithm, such as in ChatGPT, such as I have done and demonstrated today, and have walked through it all. So with a lot of the things that I've actually got here, you can actually just put some of those action steps, for example, into ChatGPT and ask it to provide even more detailed strategies and outcomes, like design the flyer, come up with the marketing campaign, what is the script that we could actually take to people, etc., etc., etc. So this is an issue that affects all of us. Traffic congestion is frustrating, and we all know that it could be much better managed. And I think what we have outlined here in this video today potentially is a path for us to navigate and hopefully come up with a better outcome and a strategy for us to be able to affect and implement at a local level. So that's you at home, in your own local community, wherever you are in the world, can incorporate any of the things that I've mentioned. And by doing something individually, then as such as through a book called Atomic Habits, it's those little ones and two sort of things that can be done. So just those little steps. You do a little something, someone else does a little something, and then collectively all those little somethings add up to be a major thing. And it's not going to happen overnight, obviously, and we've got time frames with a lot of these things. So if we start today, a lot of these things can be done within 3 to 6 months, just as has been projected. However, I'm always open to critique and insights from the spits that people can put in the spittoon and solve problems of individual thought. By all means, lean into AI, get some insights from AI, augment your knowledge, join the church, cyborg humans using reasoning collectively harnessed. And if you've got a smartphone, then you are a cyborg. And by leaning into artificial intelligence, then you're augmenting your own organic knowledge with an artificial intelligence that's actually going to make you smarter, and then collectively all of us smarter. So on that note, I will see you in the next one. Please join the network, become a sinner, get involved. We need more sinners in this church. Bye now.